Well, as always, I try to figure out what I'm going to do based upon the challenges of the text. First I had to write a text with my writing partners and we had to come up with a story. One I thought that would address what you do with a character like this. How do you make a movie about a beloved hero where the hero is now in his 70s? And it seemed to me that there is a kind of, you can't ignore his age, that the movie almost must become about the character's age, because it is such a dominating issue in anyone's life once they enter those sunset years. And to me, then it became an opportunity, probably a theme I visited in some different ways before, but the hero in Twilight, a hero in a time, it's not only that the hero has gotten old, it's that the world has changed around them. And it's forever fascinating to me. It was in Logan. Certainly one of the most inspirational films of my career has been Shane. Certainly in 3:10 to Yuma, it's a very Western theme. We've seen it in many John Wayne films, but in 3:10 to Yuma, the age of the kind of train robbers and outlaws is kind of over or ending, and Russell Crowe's character kind of senses this way of life is going to end. To me, that sense that times have changed was really important to try and get into the film, while at the same time trying to find the joy and the charm that is an Indiana Jones film at the same time. Yes, but also other things don't change. What's interesting is when I made Heavy, as it was called in the States, is called Dolores' Restaurant in your...
Dolly's Restaurant.
Dolly's Restaurant,
yes.
yeah. When I made that film, what was most happening in the cinematic culture of that moment was Quentin Tarantino and kind of postmodern, kind of very hip. I'm a big fan of Quentin, so I have nothing against it. I enjoy those films, but I knew I couldn't make them. I didn't want to imitate what was going on in the fashion at that moment. I feel like Quentin was spearheading something quite brilliant on his own and I didn't want to just be trying to imitate him because it was kind of the hot indie style of that moment. And so I made that movie, Dolly's Restaurant, as you call it, is kind of in its own way a very classical film, just a straight-ahead character drama, as much inspired by Bogdanovich's Last Picture Show or HUD, the great Marty Ritt film with Paul Newman, or just slice-of-life movies that talked about life in a small town and ran very counter to what was going on at that moment, and operated on a fairly classical style. I was influenced by almost more than anything the work of Ozu when I made that movie. But I've kind of continued along that path. Certainly the scale of my movies has changed, but I don't always make movies as large as Indiana Jones. The next movie is certainly not. But I kind of think the same challenges await me no matter what the scale, which is that the scale of a movie is something you have to have the physical stamina and the mental kind of logical skills to manage an octopus with so many arms and still make it look like you're a single voice telling a story. But other than that, my real job day to day becomes landing with a camera in a space with some actors and making a scene happen inside a rectangle in a commanding and interesting way that holds your attention and maybe moves you. This is my job.